That hydrangea sitting in your yard right now, the one with crispy brown leaves and not a single bloom left, you have not killed it. Not yet. What looks like death in a hydrangea is almost always something far simpler. The plant ran out of food, and it's telling you in the only language it has. Before you cut it down or toss it on the compost pile, I want you to see something. Because the fix isn't a bottle of fertilizer from the garden center. It's already in your kitchen, right now, probably within arm's reach. In the next few minutes, I'm going to hand you 5 ways to feed a struggling hydrangea back to life, using things you already have: a banana peel, old coffee grounds, an eggshell, a bowl of rice water. Nothing bought, nothing complicated. I'll show you exactly how much to use and exactly how often, because using the wrong amount of any of these can do more harm than good. Stick around for the last one, because it's the one almost nobody uses correctly. Used right, it can push a stalled hydrangea into a fresh flush of blooms. Long before garden centers sold bottles of liquid fertilizer, people fed their gardens with whatever came out of the kitchen. Banana peels, eggshells, spent coffee, the water rice was rinsed in. None of it went to waste, because none of it needed to. A garden and a kitchen used to run on the same cycle. What the table didn't use, the soil did. That habit faded once fertilizer became something you buy in a bag instead of something you save in a bowl. And a hydrangea, more than almost any other flowering shrub, feels that shift. It's a hungry, thirsty plant. It drinks fast, it feeds fast, and when either runs short, it shows you immediately, drooping, browning, blooms that shrink or vanish. That's not the plant dying, that's the plant asking. The 5 things I'm about to walk you through are not exotic. They're what sat in kitchens for generations before there was a plant food aisle to buy from. The only difference between using them well and wasting them is knowing the right way to apply each one. And that's exactly what most people online get wrong. Before you feed anything, check whether there's still life in it. Take one of the main stems and scratch the bark lightly with your thumbnail. See green underneath, even pale green? The plant is alive. If a stem looks dead through and through, move lower, toward the base. In many struggling hydrangeas, the crown near the soil is the last part to give up. So keep testing downward before you give up on it. Once you've found green, you're not reviving a corpse. You're feeding something that's simply running on empty. If your hydrangea is alive but stubborn about blooming, or the blooms it does manage are small and pale, it's often short on potassium, the nutrient behind flower production. Banana peels carry a modest amount of it. Chop 2 or 3 peels and drop them in about a liter of water. Let that sit for 2 days. Strain it, dilute it with an equal amount of plain water, and pour it slowly around the base of the plant, over the root zone, once a week. Think of it less as an energy shot and more as a small, steady snack. Don't throw the soggy peels away afterward. Chop them finer and work them into the top inch of soil, where they'll keep breaking down slowly. Nothing wasted. But if the plant is putting out plenty of leaves and simply refuses to flower, the peels alone won't fix that. What it's missing is probably something else entirely. If the problem isn't blooms but leaves, pale, sparse, yellowing foliage, that's usually a nitrogen issue, and used coffee grounds are the fix. Let the grounds dry out for a day first, so they don't clump into a soggy mat. Then sprinkle a thin layer around the base of the plant, a couple of inches clear of the stems. Work it gently into the top of the soil and water it in. Do this every 2 weeks, not more. Too much nitrogen gives you a bush full of leaves and no flowers at all. As a bonus, coffee grounds improve soil texture over time and give earthworms something to work with, which helps roots breathe. Now, if the leaves look fine, but the stems themselves feel weak and floppy, or the leaves are yellowing between the veins while the veins stay green, that's a different problem entirely, and it needs a different fix. Eggshells and Epsom salt, used together, solve it. Rinse and dry 5 or 6 eggshells, then crush them as fine as you possibly can, closer to powder than gravel. This isn't a fix for tonight. Think of it as a slow deposit into the plant's account, not a wire transfer. Dissolve 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt into a liter of water. Sprinkle your crushed shell around the base. Work it in, then pour the Epsom solution over the top. Once a month is the limit here, and honestly, only bother with the Epsom salt at all if you're actually seeing that yellow between the veins pattern. If you're not, skip it and let the coffee grounds and rice water do the work instead, because overdoing Epsom salt without a real need can throw the whole soil balance off. That handles the leaves and stems, but the soil itself still needs feeding, and that fix has been going down your drain your whole life. Every time you rinse rice before cooking, that cloudy water carries starches and trace nutrients your hydrangea can use, and it feeds the microorganisms in the soil that convert nutrients into a form roots can actually absorb. Save that first rinse. Let it sit a day if you want to boost it further, and pour it around the base about once a week in place of a normal watering. Make sure it's unsalted, and if it's water you cooked rice in rather than rinse water, let it cool completely first. And now, the one I told you to wait for, wood ash. It's rich in potassium and calcium, and a small dose can genuinely help revive a tired plant. But it's also strongly alkaline, which means it raises soil pH fast, so a little goes a long way, and too much will do more harm than good. A cheap pH test strip from any garden store will tell you exactly where your soil starts, so you know how far a single dose is likely to move it. 1 tablespoon for a medium hydrangea, sprinkled thin, never piled, never touching the stems, watered in gently. Once a month at most, and honestly, once at the start of the season is often enough. One more thing worth knowing, because wood ash raises soil pH, it nudges hydrangea blooms toward pink over time. If you're growing a blue hydrangea and want to keep it that way, skip the ash. Here's something worth sitting with. None of what I just walked you through comes in a bottle with a barcode. There's no brand name on a banana peel, no patent on an eggshell. Ask yourself who taught you that a banana peel belongs in the trash, and a small bottle of blue liquid belongs on a shelf. Nobody lied to you. It's simpler than that. The fertilizer industry isn't evil. It's just built around one incentive: sell you something you have to keep buying. A bag of fertilizer is convenient, and convenient quietly became the only option, until the kitchen scraps that used to feed every garden on the street ended up in the trash instead. That's not a conspiracy. It's just what happens when a habit gets replaced by a product, and the old knowledge stops being profitable to mention. Once you know a banana peel and a bowl of rice water can do real work in your soil, you stop needing the aisle at all, at least for a struggling hydrangea. That's the whole point of this video. Not to tell you fertilizer companies are evil, but to hand you back something you never should have had to buy in the first place. So here's what I want you to do. Don't throw all 5 of these at your hydrangea at once. That overwhelms a plant that's already stressed. Start this week with rice water and banana tea, the gentlest of the 5. Bring in coffee grounds the second week. Save eggshells and Epsom salt for once a month, and the wood ash for a single, careful dose when you want a real push. Keep the soil consistently moist through all of it. No fertilizer works in bone-dry dirt. Go outside today. Do the scratch test. Find the green. It's probably still there.